There's nothing like hearing the needle in the groove of a record. Analog sound is superior to digital. I don't care who you are or what you say. It's such a warmer, broader sound, and even mathematically speaking, you're getting more of the sound wave when you actually hear the analog sound of a record. However, in order to get that optimal sound, you need to do a number of things, just basic maintenance. And I meet a lot of young record collectors, and they'll even go out and buy high-end turntables and even clean their records, but they will miss out on some of the basic record maintaining things that you need to do. And so I thought I'd just make a quick video to explain what those are. First and foremost, you want to get rid of paper sleeves. Now, you may notice that a lot of your records have paper sleeves, and you might be even asking yourself right now, well, why would I want to get rid of a paper sleeve? You know, is that not protecting the vinyl from coming in contact with the cardboard album jacket? Well, yes, in a sense it is. However, we have now discovered that paper sleeves actually attract and collect dirt inside of them. And so when you actually take a piece of vinyl, you can actually feel it. When you pull a piece of vinyl out of a paper sleeve, there's friction. Now part of that is static, but that friction too is the microfibers of the inside of the paper with the record. Now if you have a dirty record going into a paper sleeve, literally every time you push that record back in, you are grounding that dirt into the vinyl records, deeper into the grooves, and you won't be getting the optimal sound out of your vinyl. Now, there's a great record store here in town that really does things right. They put all their album jackets in plastic sleeves to protect the album jacket, but instead of paper sleeves, they actually use plastic sleeves. Now, plastic sleeves are far superior to the paper sleeve because although they can have some static buildup, they don't hang on to the dirt the way that the paper sleeves do. And you can actually feel it when you pull a piece of vinyl out of a plastic sleeve. There's no resistance. There's hardly any friction whatsoever. And no matter how many times you push and pull that back into its plastic sleeve, you won't be scratching the surface of the vinyl. Now, this isn't to say that you don't have to keep clean vinyl. You potentially could have a dirty record going inside of a plastic sleeve, and you're maintaining the dirt on that vinyl. The nice thing, at least about it being in a plastic sleeve, is that when you pull it out, it's not like that vinyl will be digging into the dirt residue like it would be in a paper sleeve. So the first thing that I suggest, if you want to maintain your vinyl albums and have them for a long time, invest. They're not expensive. You can usually get them about 5 cents a pop. Invest in some plastic sleeves for your vinyl collection. The other thing I would suggest, especially if you are storing your records on a shelf, is that you have outer plastic covers. Again, these guys go for about 10 cents a sleeve, and they're totally worth the investment if you want to maintain your album jackets. Album jackets, just like your vinyl, can wear over time, depending on how they're held, where they're held, and how dirty the hands are of the people that are holding them. This one, actually, come to mention that, I clearly allowed something to get in the middle of that. It's a gatefold, and something sticky on the inside was holding both sides together. So I'll definitely have to give that some attention and maybe clean that off later. But you definitely want to make sure that you put those in a plastic sleeve. Now you may be asking to yourself, okay, well, why did you put the plastic sleeve so that the album jacket goes down into it? The reason why I do that is so that when I actually place the album itself on a record shelf, which I do, I store my records on shelves, number one, when I slide it in, the actual album jacket's not going to come out from the plastic covering, and there's no chance that the vinyl could slip out, and out of the album jacket. It's going to stay in there snug because it's protected on both sides. Now, the other thing I would suggest is if it's an album that you play a lot, instead of actually putting the vinyl in the album jacket and storing it in the album jacket once it's in its plastic sleeve, consider just lowering it and putting it on the back side of the album jacket like so. The benefit of doing that is you won't have the friction or potential damage that you can do to the edges of the spine of the cover from a piece of vinyl going in and out all the time. Over time, your vinyl can actually pierce through, and you've probably seen album jackets that their seams are all busted up because the vinyl is actually pierced through. So that's how I would suggest you maintain your vinyl. Have an album jacket cover and actually place the vinyl in a plastic cover and put that just on the outside, and that way you can easily slide that on your shelf and it's ready to grab and play when you want to listen to it. And it's it's all accessible from the top end, so you know that the vinyl is not going to go anywhere and nothing can get at the actual album cover and damage it. And finally, the last thing I want to mention is how to actually handle vinyl. Now, there's many different camps. Some people think you need to hold, your record with lint-free white gloves. I wouldn't go that far, but you certainly never want to be putting your fingers on the vinyl. You'll notice even when I do that, you can see this particular album, I use it as an example. You can see all the smudges and the fingerprints on that. Over time, that's going to affect the play of the album, and you can actually cause a record to skip or to sound less than stellar because you're putting dirt and grime and grease and oils into those grooves. So never grab a record like that, but instead, when you go to play a record, when you're pulling it out of the sleeve, you might even give the sleeve just a little shake, let gravity do its work, and just grab the edge of the vinyl and simply hold the vinyl with both hands like this, never touching the grooves when you put it onto the turntable and playing it that way. When you take care of your vinyl in those ways, you will find that your vinyl collection will sound a whole lot better and it will last a whole lot longer.